Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's doing okay. You're having a great, it's actually Christmas Day, but I have a little bit of time. The weather's beautiful. It's almost like 60 some degrees here. So I decided to do a video review of my 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe. I have the limited trim level, and I've had it now for just over a year. I purchased it December 2nd, 2024, and I also have almost 43,000 miles on it in 1 year. So I thought this would probably be a pretty realistic review because I've had it for over a year and I've put quite a few miles on it. I commute for work, I travel with it, I do a lot with it. So anyway, so here's my review. Hello everyone. So I'm doing a review of my 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe Limited Edition. There's two things that I want to say. That one, I've had an actual small issue. Both of these are very small. Overall, I love the car. It's been one of the best vehicles, if not the best vehicle I have ever owned. It's very economical. It's a really luxurious car, and I don't even have the top trim level, the calligraphy. It drives really well. It's easy to drive. I can drive this car for hours and not feel exhausted from driving. I've never had a vehicle in my life that ever was the case. You drive 6, 7, 8 hours going somewhere, even 3 or 4 or 5 hours, and you just feel exhausted afterwards. So overall, I couldn't recommend the car enough. I know there's people that have had some issues with them, which there's issues with every vehicle. And, but I think in general, this is a really super car. It's very agile and nimble, relatively speaking, for the size of it. It's easy to park. It's easy to drive, easy to maneuver. It's got lots of room in it. One of the reasons, and you can see in the background back here, my bench seat. And one of the reasons I purchased the Limited is because I have 2 small dogs, and I usually have them, actually strap them in the back, and I let them ride in the back's bench seat. I got the bench seat because the calligraphy doesn't have that. The calligraphy only has the captain's chairs, the 2 separate captain's chairs in the back. So I got the Limited really for that reason. I do like the look of the Limited too. The calligraphy I like a lot, but you see a lot of vehicles with blacked out wheels, and that's very popular and all that sort of stuff. I like the brushed nickel trim around the Limited a lot. And really the calligraphy has a few more options that this one doesn't, but I can't imagine it would be grossly better because this is a fantastic car. I wouldn't recommend, you can see I have the lighter color interior, which I love. I don't have kids, but I do know that it does kind of stain a little bit. It does make it a little harder to get the stains out. So if you have kids and you're worried about stains and things like that, you may want to pick a different color. If you're looking at buying one of these vehicles, you may want to pick the pecan. I think they have the pecan, which is a darker brown, and then they have the black, of course. I just hate black. So everybody has black vehicles, black interiors. I just hate black. So I wanted something lighter and brighter. And I love the color. I love the interior, but it does show stains a little bit. They're relatively easy to clean off, but it shows wear and tear just easier over time. One of the things that has failed in the car is the wireless charging point that is down here in the console. That failed just about a month or so ago. It just completely stopped working. I noticed when I was getting home from work, because I would charge my phone for about an hour or so headed home from work, I would get home and my phone wasn't charged, and I couldn't figure out why. Finally, I figured out the charge pad wasn't working. So I took it to the dealership. They ordered me a new charge pad, and they have told me that the parts are in for it and I need to come in and have it fixed. Well, in the meantime, it started working again. So I think I'm still going to have them replace it just because I don't want it to be intermittent again. And the only other issue I've had, and I don't know that anything is fixable about this, is the lift gate in the back. When you walk up to the lift gate, it opens up when you're holding, when you stand there for 4 seconds, it'll open. Well, for some reason, when I'm just walking around the back of my car to get into my car, if I'm parked somewhere, not standing there, not wanting to open the lift gate, it'll lock onto my phone and it won't unlock from my phone. It'll open up. It opens up the hatch every time. And so I almost have to avoid going around the back of my car and go around the front, or go far enough around the back of my car that it doesn't lock onto my phone, because once it does, it opens the lift gate every single time. And so I'm trying to get in my car and having to close the lift gate at the same time. So other than that, though, The cruise control, it takes a little getting used to. You know, I never had adaptive cruise in a vehicle I had before. I use it every single day. I absolutely love it every single day. I couldn't have a car now without adaptive cruise. This one works fairly well. You know, it's a little sluggish to pick up sometimes or whatever, but I use it all the time. It is so helpful. I even use it when I'm pulling my trailer. And that's the other thing. One of the reasons why I'm doing this video is because I use this as my tow vehicle. This is my tow vehicle for my RV life. So this has taken me on 19 camping trips so far this past season. And I already have five scheduled for this coming season and even more. This pulls my trailer absolutely like a dream. I have it's a little under 2,000 pound A-liner pop-up camping trailer. It pulls it without even knowing it's pulling it. I mean, honestly, it is fantastic with how it pulls. And I still get an average of 30 miles to the gallon pulling my trailer, which I think is pretty incredible. I do get an average of 30 miles per gallon commuting, pulling trailer, driving, city driving, everything. Mine's right at 30 miles per gallon. There are times when I get 32 or 33 out of a gallon or out of a tank of gas. And there's other times where I get 28, 29, 30. But the average of all 42,736 miles, I get 30 miles a gallon. I think that's pretty good considering I put over 5,000 miles of this car pulling a trailer. I have put 25,000 miles probably commuting back and forth to work. Nothing but highway driving. Nothing but highway driving. I get on the highway at my house and I get off the highway at my work. 67 miles basically, or 60 miles totally of nothing but highway driving. And then all the commuting around town I do, running errands, picking up friends from the airport, all that kind of stuff. It's a fantastic car. I could not recommend the car more. It is absolutely a wonderful car. The price that I paid for it up front is much, much lower, considerably lower than Toyota, Mazda. I checked them. Subaru. This car is still far and away less expensive with more options than you can get any of those cars for. It's held together well. It doesn't squeak. It doesn't rattle. I mean, it just has been a great car. It works, everything on it works flawlessly, except, like I said, for the charge pad. And then I find the liftgate being irritating. And I know, I think you can turn that off, but it's nice to have it on when I need it. So I don't want to turn it off just because of that. So I do leave it on all the time. But yeah, it's a fantastic car. If you're looking for a new vehicle in 2026, you need to look at the Hyundai Motor division or the Hyundai Motor Company and Kia and even Genesis, but particularly Hyundai and Kia. I like the Hyundais a little better than the Kias, but they're still both pretty nice vehicles. You know, I never thought in a million years I would own a Hyundai or a Kia vehicle, you know, or a Hyundai motor vehicle, but it's fantastic. It's just such a great car. I love the look of it. That's what attracted me to it, was the boxiness. It sort of has that bigger SUV look and feel about it, but it really drives well. It gets great fuel economy. It's got tons of room inside of it for a mid-sized car. There's really no downside to this car. Now, if you want something a little more rugged, you would need to go to the XRT. I like the XRT. I really would like to do the XRT, but the trim level of the XRT just isn't for me. I want something a little more luxurious. And I don't do enough off-roading, camping, and that sort of stuff at this point to really warrant one of those. But they do offer the XRT in the Santa Fe that, you know, has a little more ground clearance, more aggressive tires. It's not a hybrid. That's the other thing. I don't want anything that isn't a hybrid at this point. So I'm going to do a little bit of video of showing you some things about the car, and then I'm going to try to mesh all these together and actually make it a cohesive review. But overall, the car, I could not recommend it enough. I really couldn't. Or Hyundai. The dealership, and I know every dealership's different, but the Hyundai dealership that I purchased the car from and where I take it back for service has been fantastic. They are a cut above any other dealership I have ever stepped foot in. And I have owned probably over 30 cars in my life of different brands, from Jeep to GM to Ford to Ram trucks to now Hyundai, Mazda. I've owned a lot of different brands of cars in my life over the years. But none can compare to the Hyundai, and no dealership that I deal with can compare to the dealership. They are far and away the best dealership I've ever done business with. They're honest, they're fair, they're quick, they're fast, they're really true to their word, and they are really a great dealership. I don't know if that's Hyundai dealerships all throughout the country, or if it's just particularly I got a really good one here where I live. But the dealership has been great. So anyway, if you're looking for a really great car to haul your family, to tow your trailer, to, I'm moving into a new home, and I just purchased a wood stove for that home, and I loaded the wood stove from the trailer, the transit trailer that where they hauled it for me, in the back of my Santa Fe. Now, it's not a huge wood stove, but it's a real wood stove that you burn wood in, that you hook up, that made out of cast iron. It weighed about 360 pounds in the crate. That hatch was big enough for me to open up the hatch, and we literally slid the wood stove, crate and all, wooden crate and all, in the back. And I hauled it because the truck driver didn't want to come down the road where I'm moving to, because it's a windy mountain road, and there's no real good turnaround. So we slid that wood stove in the back of my car, and I hauled it to my house and then unloaded it from there. There's really not a lot this car isn't capable of doing if you really need to use it for that. So, haul the kids, pull the trailer, haul your wood stove, haul your groceries, whatever. It really does it all. So anyway, I'll be posting some other video about the car and some pictures and showing you the mileage. Like I said, I have almost 43,000 miles and just over a year on it. So it's a real world test of the car. So talk soon.